Hey, let's do another one. Here's another 8th grade sample question. Of course, all these sample questions can be found on the SBAC website, practice test. Anybody can go do this practice test. I just want to go over some of the problems and answers since they do not give you the answers. On the practice site, it's kind of tough to practice and not know if you got it right or wrong. So here's another example of that. We've got a line on the graph, line A, right here. And we're supposed to, of course, when you're taking this test, it's technology-based, so you're going to have some tech tools on the screen. But you're going to draw another line on the same graph, line B. And this line B needs to have these three characteristics, okay? It needs to have a solution of 7, -2. And that solution needs to be common for line A. So that just means we need to find that ordered pair on line A and make sure it's part of line B. The slope of B is greater than -1 and less than 0. Okay, let's work one thing at a time here. Okay, here's an enlarged version of the graph so we can see it a little better. Okay, the first thing we need to do is let's locate this point. Of course, you know, all your ordered pairs are in order, X and Y. That's left and right. That's up and down. So we're going to go to the right. Since it's +7, we're going to go to the right. 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and down 2. Puts us right there. Okay, so that point needs to be part of line B also. Okay, so let's just make sure whatever line we draw has to pass through this point. Okay. Second thing we got to make sure we do, the slope has to be greater than -1 and less than 0. Well, let's see what that would look like. Okay, now less than 0, slope of 0, means this. So 0 is straight across, it's horizontal, parallel with the y-axis, or with the x-axis, parallel with x-axis. Don't get that confused, and some people get this confused a lot. This is called undefined slope. Okay, there's a reason for that, but we're not going to get into that in this video. That's up and down only. A slope of 0 is only a horizontal line. Okay, so if we're gonna that's a slope of 0, and it's passing through that solution. Okay, it needs to be less than 0 but greater than -1. Well, a slope of -1, what's that going to look like? Well, a slope means change in y over the change in x. So that means down and right. Down 1, right 1. Down 1, right 1. So we would have that is our slope of -1. Here's our slope of 0. So our solutions, the line B that we're going to draw needs to be greater than -1 and less than 0. Okay, so if we had a number line going over here and we had -1 on it and 0 on it, this would be all fractions that fall in there, okay, not including those. Okay, so we could have -15/16, we could have -1/32, right? Anything in between there. So, for example, we could have -1/2, which would be right in the middle. What would that look like? Well, it's the change in y over the change in x, right? So y is going down 1, x is going right 2. X always goes to the right. So from my intersection point, I'd be going down 1, right 2. And I would have this line. I drew that line just to check my logic here, because what I was getting at was, once I defined my limits of, okay, there's the slope of 0, here's the slope of -1, I was guessing all of my answers would be in here. Okay? So I just wanted to do a little check and verify that I was right. And then the true answer is anything in that range, right? So there's lots of possible answers. That if you were drawing this on your graph, you would basically have the open, right? These are all your answers in here. These are all negative fractions that are less than 0 and greater than -1. And so the slope of your line could be anywhere in here. It could be right here, and it could be way up here. Okay, any of these lines in that range are going to work. The y-intercept of line B is positive. So that means there. Positive y-intercept. Now we're pretty limited as to what our answers could be. So I'm going to say anything in that range is going to fit the description. Okay? So let's go back here. Let's clean it up a little bit. Okay? There's my intersection of 7, -2. Here's the line. That's one border of my solution set, and my other border needs to be a slope of -1. Okay, so the blue are like the outside limits of what line I could draw. The red is the zone, right? Because I've got a positive y-intercept. I've got a slope that is less than 0 and is also greater than -1. The y-intercept is positive, and we've got that intersection. We're good to go. Okay, it's kind of a lot of work, but on a problem like this where you have 3 criteria you're looking at, you got to look at each thing individually, make sure you really understand the problem, right? Because there's no math going on here. It's a critical thinking problem. So, not only would that help you get this problem right, but I hope it will help you on other problems that you may actually run into on the real test and in other situations in math classes. All right? Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.